In this session, we will simply talk about the personal beliefs and religion of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of the independent India. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is an exceptional Prime Minister who remained the Prime Minister of India until his death, and it is only by his leadership India has risen to a successful nation in South Asia. So now let's talk about the personal beliefs and religion of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has been always described as a Hindu agnostic. So, what is agnostic? I will tell you later. Agnostic means agnosticism is the view or belief that the existence of God, the divine, or the supernatural is either unknowable in principle or unknown in fact. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is styling himself as a scientific humanist. Scientific humanist is the person who is a supporter of secular humanism, and secular humanism is a philosophy, belief system, or life stance that embraces human reason, logic, secular ethics, and philosophical naturalism, while specifically rejecting religious dogma, supernaturalism, and superstitions as the basis of morality and decision making. So we know that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was a Hindu agnostic and he was a scientific humanist. Nehru thought that religious taboos were preventing India from moving forward and adapting to modern conditions. No country or people who are slaves to dogma and dogmatic mentality can progress. And unhappily, our country and people have become extraordinarily dogmatic and little minded. The spectacle of what is called religion, or at any rate organized religion, in India and elsewhere, has filled me with horror, and I have frequently condemned it and wished to make a clean sweep of it. Almost always it seemed to stand for blind belief and reaction, dogma and bigotry, superstition, exploitation, and the preservation of vested interest. He told this in his book, The Toward Freedom, the Autobiography of Jawaharlal Nehru, published in 1936 in the pages number 243 and 41. So, as a humanist, Nehru considered that his afterlife was not in some mystical heaven or reincarnation, but in the practical achievements of a life lived fully with and for his fellow human beings. Nor am I greatly interested in life after death. I find the problems of this life sufficiently absorbing to fill my mind, he wrote. In his last will and testament, he wrote, I wish to declare with all earnestness that I do not want any religious ceremonies performed for me after my death. I do not believe in such ceremonies, and to submit to them, even as a matter of form, would be hypocrisy and an attempt to delude ourselves and others. In his autobiography, he analyzed Abrahamic and Indian religions and their impact on India. He wanted to model India as a secular country. His secularist policies remain a subject of debate mainly by the Hindutva proponents. So that's all simply now we can say that uh, um, according to the religious belief, he did not believe any particular so-called religion of superstition or of dogma or exploitation and preservation of the vested interest, but he was a secular. He wanted India to be a secular country. He did not take resort to religion to cheat people or to delude people. So he was a scientific humanist and he was a Hindu agnostic. But I would like to just clear you that agnostic is the supporter of agnosticism. Agnosticism is the view or belief that the existence of God, the divine, or the supernatural is either unknowable, that is, we cannot know about them in principle, or unknown in fact. It can also mean an apathy towards such religious belief and refer to personal limitations rather than a worldview. Another definition is the view that human reason is incapable of providing sufficient rational grounds to justify either the belief that God exists or the belief that God does not exist. So, uh, the first premier or the first prime minister of independent India was an agnostic, and he was a scientific, he was a supporter of secular humanism. He believed in humanity. So, what is secular humanism? Secular humanism is a philosophy, it's a belief system or life stance that embraces human reason, logic, secular ethics, and philosophical naturalism, while specifically rejecting religious dogma, supernaturalism, and superstition as the basis of morality and decision making. Secular humanism posits that human beings are capable of being ethical and moral without religion or belief in a deity. So, I hope you have enjoyed in brief about the uh, religious belief of the first Prime Minister of independent India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who remained the Prime Minister of India until his death. And those who have been listening to this lecture, I would like to once again remind you that only you cannot gain your total knowledge from Facebook or YouTube. You need books. You need to buy the books written by uh, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and if you read the books clearly, you will have a very good vision, good knowledge about the religious beliefs of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Because it is under the leadership of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, India has risen almost to a superpower, especially in our South Asia. So hats off to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru for his charismatic leadership, for his innovative leadership. And last of all, I would like to tell you that Facebook or YouTube is not the only source of gaining knowledge. You have to gain knowledge from textbooks, from reading books, and but before being knowledgeable, you must have a sound health. You must have a sound mind. If you want to maintain a sound health and a sound mind, you must sleep from 7 to 9 hours out of 24 hours in a day. So try to eat nutritious food, try to have a healthy and sound physique. And lastly, I would like to thank you for listening to this video. Thank you, bye bye. And if you like, you can browse some other videos on my channel. Thank you, bye bye, for listening to. Please list for your patient hearing.